Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In our previous video we had looked at on how you can install Ubuntu desktop on a Oracle virtual machine, and we successfully did that. So today I'm going to take you through some of the basic Linux commands that are going to be useful when you are running Ubuntu. So we are going to start, and as you can see on the left side I'm having Ubuntu desktop and Ubuntu server. So that means the Oracle virtual machine allows you to install more than one operating system or server at the same time. That's actually the benefit of it. So I'm going to log in to my account that we had created previously when we were installing the desktop. It's going to take a few seconds, and yeah, here we have our home page. So we are going to search for our terminal because that is where we are going to be typing our commands. And today the first command that we are going to do is pwd. It actually shows the path that we are in. As you can see, mine is showing I'm in home Vincent, and the second command it should be, let's work with ls. It's going to show us the folders that are currently in Vincent. As you can see, I'm having desktop, downloads, pictures, yeah. And the third command, let's work with cd. This cd, it allows us to open folders. So in our case, as you can see, cd desktop, it has allowed us to access desktop. And I'm going to type ls, and we're going to find that there is nothing in our desktop. So pretty much that is it. And then we're going to type cd, then 2 dots. It's going to take us a step back, and as you can see, we are back to where we were. Now let's try to make a directory, and that is the command for actually making a directory. And in our directory we are going to call it saltator, and as you can see, when I type ls, it's showing saltator. That is our directory that we have created, and let's access it by typing cd saltator. And as you can see, it's actually empty when we type ls. So yeah, let's try and create a text file like in Windows, the way we normally use notepad. So here we're going to use touch, and let's call our file media. And if you want to see it, let's type ls to see. As you can see, there we have it, media. And what if you want to access the media, that is the file that we have created? We're going to use nano. It's actually an editor, so we're going to type nano media, and here it has opened for us our media text. So let's type in something. This is my first file in Linux. So to exit and save changes, you're going to press Ctrl X, and then save modified buffer, you're going to type y, that is yes. And to access the content inside our media file that we've created, we are actually going to use cat. That is another command. So it's going to display the contents of our file here on the terminal. So if you type cat media, as you can see, it's showing us the contents of our file. That is, this is my first file in Linux, and that is what we had just created a few seconds ago. Now let's try to rename it. We're going to use the command mv, that is mv media, to saltator media. So we've actually renamed our file media, and as you can see, if we type ls, we are now having saltator media. So mv, normally use it to rename our file. And if you try to cut saltator media, you can see the contents of the file are the same. So what we've done is actually renaming it. What if we want to duplicate it? Now let's clear the screen. Now there is saltator media. If you want to duplicate it, you're going to type copy saltator media. Let's call it saltator media 2. Now as you can see, when we type ls, we have saltata media and saltata media 2. Actually, we've actually duplicated that file, and if we can cut saltata media 2, you'll see the contents of the file, they are the same. Now let's say we want to delete our saltata media 2. We're going to type in rm, that is remove saltata media 2. Then if we type ls, as you can see, we've actually deleted that file, it's no longer there. Now let's go one step back by typing cd ... and as you can see, we are back to where we were. Now let's say we want to delete this folder called saltata. If we try to use the command that we had used earlier to delete a file, let's say remove saltata, this is the warning that you're going to get: cannot remove saltata because it's a directory. Now for us to be in a position to remove a directory, this is what we are going to do. We're going to type in remove, then -r, and then the name of our directory, that is saltata. So we've actually successfully deleted that directory, and if we type in ls, as you can see, it's no longer there. Yeah, and something else, let's say sudo, let's say you want to add a user, we'll type in sudo add user, and then the name of the user, let's call him saltata. I'm going to type in my password because it's asking the password for Vincent. Now the new password is going to be for the new user that we're going to add, that is saltata. So let's assign him a password. I'm going to type in, let's say, salt. Actually, let me redo it again. It's giving me a warning the password is shorter, but that is okay. You can type in the details here of that particular user. Let's just skip these ones by typing enter, clicking enter, I mean. So is this information correct? Yes. Now that is how you create a user, and now that is a normal user. Let's say we want to, first of all, let's check on the users that we are having. We're going to type in compgen, and then it's going to give us the users of our system. That is, we have Vincent and the new user that we've created, saltata. Now you can also check the group. We have a group saltata. So that is pretty much it. Now let's say we want to give this user permissions of root to be an administrator. Now to be in a position to do that, we're going to type in sudo user mod, that is modify -a-g, and then sudo, and then the name of that particular user that we're going to give sudo permissions or administrator permissions. Now let's say we want to revoke the same permissions that we've given that particular user. Now what we're going to do, you're going to type in sudo delete user, and then del user saltata sudo. So it's going to remove the permissions from that particular user, the administrator permission that we had given that particular user. So as you can see, removing user saltata from group sudo, and it's done. It's successful. And if we try to check our users, that is compgen -u, you can see the user already exists, but what we've done is to revoke the permissions. Now let's say we want to delete that user permanently. We're going to type in sudo del user saltata. It's going to ask for my password as Vincent, and as you can see, he has no members, done, removing user saltata. So if we check again, compgen then -u is no longer there. We don't have the user saltata. So that is how you create, add permissions to that particular user, and actually delete the same user. So there is a host name. It shows the name of the machine that you're currently using, and if you want more details, you can type in host name ctl. It's going to provide us with actually more information, and as you can see, static host name, icon name, chassis, and it's going to provide most of the details are going to be for the virtual box because we are using the virtual environment. So as you can see, hardware model, it's saying it's a VirtualBox. And let's say we want to access the root folder. That is, you're going to type in cd and /. So these are the directories actually that are there in the root. So as you can see, let's open cd bin. Now in our cd bin, all these are commands. Actually Linux is made up of commands, and they are in file format. So all these we are seeing here, they are commands, and Linux normally arranges everything. Actually most of the Linux things, they are in file format. The commands you can see, chmod, chom, all these are commands. Even the ones that we've been using, ls, move, all of them are commands. So pretty much that is it. You can exit the terminal by typing exit. Now if you want to shut down, you can also type shut down. Now it's going to shut down our machine. So those are some of the basic commands. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, subscribe and share for more videos.